Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another short little unboxing video to share with you guys. Something from Boost Blades, which, boy, it's been a long time. Those of you who have been around for a bit know that I think Boost Blades kind of, made their name with the smoke. There was probably, some knives before that a lot of people who've been around much longer were familiar with. But for me, at least, for me, it was the smoke that got my attention on Boost Blades. But it's been a bit. These knives certainly have an aesthetic that is not for everybody, but it definitely is a little bit different and something that some people will really enjoy. This is just an unboxing and first impressions. I don't really know anything about this knife yet. We'll save that for the full comprehensive review, which will come down the road. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex and on TikTok at the_metal_complex. I will link this down in the description. I'm not sure exactly where it's available yet, but I'll figure that out, of course, after I unbox this. So it doesn't say anything on the outside of the box about what it is, but I believe, I'm pretty sure that this is called the Fang. I'm also pretty sure that this has a Chinese OEM at the moment, like literally this exact moment that I am recording this. I don't know who that is, but I would venture to guess the link will go to their website, and their website will probably list who it is. If not, I'll get that information in the full review. Nice captive pivot here. Very cool. We have kind of like a dull blue to purple ano, which is fine. Boost Blades, the aesthetic for their designs has always been, especially like if you look at the smoke, has always been very narrow, right? Long, narrow. I think in the past they did, was the smoke a flipper, or did they do multiple versions of it? It's been so long, I can't remember. Titanium bag spacer, nice large lanyard loop there. Little titanium milled pocket clip. Can we get in here and do the reverse flick? We sure can. Long, slender Wharncliffe, almost certainly M390, that would be my guess. And then we have kind of a, it's got the typical, I guess, nose of a Wharncliffe. Now, the real question is, how well does it do as a narrow exposed frame lock front flipper? Actually, I thought for sure that the pressure that has to be here. Here's my issue. Whenever I'm looking at a knife that's a long, narrow frame, and it's an exposed titanium frame lock, I think no matter what means of deployment I use, it's not going to work very well, because I have almost no choice. Just by gripping the knife, I have to put pressure on that frame lock. And a lot of you know when you do that, what it does is it takes the detent ball and pushes it. It really mashes it, creates additional pressure in that detent hole on the blade, making it harder for the blade to release with the force that you're applying on the thumb stud, the front flipper, the back flipper, what have you, right? So usually I say I don't like narrow frame locks that are front flippers. This, surprisingly, I'm actually going to try and squeeze this. Yeah, even like intentionally, like awkwardly cat's pawing my hand to put way too much force on that frame lock, it still wants to deploy, and I'll tell you why. It's because the leverage off of the flipper tab is exactly what you need. Like I said, these long, narrow knives, some people absolutely love them. Either, you're just really into the aesthetic, which is perfectly understandable. Everybody's aesthetic tastes are different, right? Whether or not something looks good or not is completely and totally subjective. But a lot of people, I think, like to carry knives like this in an office setting because you get an enormous amount of cutting edge. In this case, I understand the geometry is going to be another thing, but in this case, you are getting 3.65 inches of blade and 3.5 inches of cutting edge. Overall, you're getting 8 inches of knife, but it probably only weighs about 60% as much as, let's use another knife that's about the same overall length. That's more of a typical, like this is 8 inches with a 3.5 inch blade roughly, right? But you're getting a lot. It's a lot less material overall. So ultimately the end result is it weighs a lot less. Now, obviously this is going to vary a little bit. And in this case with the Ritter Hogue, it's not quite fair because it does also have steel liners So the weight on this guy, right, just to give you an extreme example, to really drive my point home, a Ritter Hogue with tie scales is 6.3 ounces. What does it weigh without the titanium scales? I'm pretty sure it's close to, if not over 5 ounces. Whereas in this case, the Fang is 2.3 ounces, right? Even if this was G10, the nice thing here, if you're really stuck on wanting a knife in, premium steel and titanium, a 3.65 inch blade with 3.5 inches of cutting edge. The ratios on a knife like this are absolutely incredible. So you end up with quite a bit of blade and not a lot of overall object to carry in your pocket. Pretty amazing. But then again, whether or not you're after them, that's going to depend on each individual person. But it does kind of make knives like this, it kind of lands them in a spot that is unique to them. You're gaining benefits that are unique to knives like this, right? So that's kind of cool. I'm always going to make a little bit of a positive case, right? Try to see why some people might be interested in certain things that other people wouldn't be, right? Because truthfully, I'm always honest, these types of knives are not for me. I don't really like how they look, and I'm not really a huge fan of like a long, narrow blade. But that doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that it offers benefits that I don't necessarily want, right? In fact, I might not know that I want them until I end up carrying something like this, which is why it's nice to get things like this and actually carry and review them. So just letting you guys know, just being honest there, that's legitimately what I think. But I am pleasantly surprised that this is super easy. And really, honestly, my biggest issue with front flippers in general is not feeling super confident up on the front flipper, right? The other thing I don't like is having to contort my hand in weird ways in order to get the knife to do what I typically expect of a regular sized titanium frame lock, right? Like disengaging the frame lock or deploying the blade or whatever. But in this case, outside of, I'd say, the adjustment from here, my brain is kind of like, whoa, it's a little handle, so you got to really make sure you're on it before you go to close it, right? Or you move out of the way. It's just, my hands are used to gripping something like this. So if you're already used to, I guess, handling something like this, and this is not going to be all that big of a deal. But it is cool. It's amazing how much blade they can really pack into this thing. I have no idea what the price tag of this is. Almost certainly going to be expensive, right? I would guess $225 to $275. A little bit of a range there because you never know what people are going to do with the price tag nowadays. But that would be my guess. If it's M390, $225, $275, something in there. Let's do a couple of other size comparisons. Spyderco PM2 and Ontario Rat 1. You can see here it's quite a bit larger than you might have assumed. There you go, up against the Para 3. Let's do the Bug Out, and let's do the Hogue Deca. I would bet you, just let's really drive this home. So I have aftermarket titanium scales on my Bug Out. I bet you that these two weigh close to the same. Okay, on the Bug Out, anything that's under 3 ounces for me, like I don't really care to reduce the weight further, right? So the titanium, titanium Bug Out is 2.8 ounces. And this weighs less. I forgot already what this weighed. So, and the Bug Out, no, wait, no, I was going to say the Bug Out has steel liners. It doesn't. These are solid titanium scales, right? So you're getting more cutting edge, more handle room, right? Same materials. Well, this is S90V, right? And legitimately has a better cutting geometry. I'm not going to pretend that it doesn't. But you're getting substantially more cutting edge. So depending on exactly what elements you're after, because this won't cut as well. Will it cut? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Right? We'll cut something like a note card, because I keep misplacing my little paper. This can still slice no problem. It's totally fine, right? The tip is fine. It's still going to cut. It's just not going to cut as efficiently as something that has much more room to taper off the spine, which this is likely only 120 thousandths or so. But the Bug Out, something like the Bug Out's still going to cut better. But it's amazing how much blade you're getting for 2.3 ounces. That's honestly pretty impressive. So anyways, not a review, just an unboxing and first impressions. You'll get the full review down the road. That's going to be it today. Links for this guide down in the description. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on the Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.